Welcome to the English Hustle Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maria. Today we have a fascinating topic to discuss: nature therapy.
That's right. We'll explore how spending time outdoors can improve our mental health.
Absolutely. Nowadays, many people experience stress and anxiety. But did you know that nature can help reduce those feelings?
Yes, there are studies showing that just being outside can make us feel happier and calmer.
And it doesn't have to be something big. Even a short walk in the park can make a difference.
That's so true. I love taking walks near my house. The fresh air really helps clear my mind.
Me too. I often go hiking on the weekends. It's a wonderful way to connect with nature and forget about daily stress.
And let's not forget the benefits of simply looking at green trees or listening to birds chirping. Nature has a way of relaxing us.
Yes, there's something very calming about being outdoors. It makes us feel more alive and connected to the world around us.
Exactly. In this episode, we'll discuss the science behind nature therapy, its benefits, and how you can easily incorporate more nature into your life.
We'll also share some personal stories and tips for getting outside and enjoying the beauty of nature.
So, whether you live in a big city or a small town, there are ways to connect with nature. If you're looking for ways to boost your mood and reduce stress, this episode is for you.
Let's get started. We hope you enjoy it.
Welcome back. Let's take a moment to talk about some vocabulary related to our topic today: nature therapy.
Great idea. It's important to understand the words we use. Let's start with the word nature.
Perfect. So, nature refers to the physical world around us, including plants, animals, mountains, and rivers.
Right. And when we say outdoors, we mean being outside, away from buildings and walls. It's where we can enjoy nature.
Exactly. Now, another important word is therapy. In this context, therapy means a treatment to help improve our mental health.
Yes. So when we combine nature and therapy, we get nature therapy, which helps people feel better by spending time outside.
Now, what about the word stress? Stress refers to the feeling we get when we're under pressure or worried about something.
Definitely. Many people experience stress in their daily lives, and being in nature can help reduce those feelings.
Another key term is mindfulness. This means being fully present in the moment and paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
That's a powerful practice. You can practice mindfulness in nature by focusing on the sounds of birds or the feel of the wind.
Yes. And let's not forget mental health. Mental health is about our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think and feel.
Absolutely. Spending time in nature can positively impact our mental health by making us feel calmer and more balanced.
Great. Now let's talk about the word environment. The environment includes all the natural things around us, like trees, water, and air.
Exactly. Protecting our environment is important because a healthy environment contributes to our overall well-being.
And lastly, let's cover benefits. Benefits are the positive effects or advantages of something.
Right. Some benefits of nature therapy include reduced stress, improved mood, and better focus.
Perfect summary. So, to recap, today we talked about nature, outdoors, therapy, stress, mindfulness, mental health, environment, and benefits.
And these words help us understand why spending time in nature is so important for our well-being.
Exactly. We hope this vocabulary helps you feel more comfortable discussing nature therapy and its impact on mental health.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember to practice these words in your conversations about nature and mental health.
Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. We're diving deep into nature therapy today. Maria, why do you think this topic is so important right now?
I think it's crucial because many people are feeling overwhelmed and stressed, especially after the pandemic. We've spent so much time indoors.
That's very true. Many studies now show a link between nature and mental health. Spending time outside can actually help reduce feelings of anxiety and depression.
Exactly. There's a term called nature therapy or ecotherapy, which refers to the practice of being outdoors to improve well-being.
I love that. It sounds very calming. What are some of the benefits you've experienced from spending time in nature?
For me, just going for a walk in the park clears my mind. I often feel more peaceful and relaxed after being outside. How about you, Alex?
I feel the same way. When I'm busy or stressed, I try to take a short break and go for a walk. It's amazing how just stepping outside can help shift my mood.
Definitely. And there's science to back this up. Research shows that being in nature can lower cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone.
Right. Lowering cortisol can help us feel less stressed. Some studies even suggest that spending just 20 minutes in nature can make a positive difference.
And it doesn't have to be a big outing. You can just sit in a garden, stare at the clouds, or listen to the sounds of nature.
That sounds so simple. What would you recommend to someone who wants to start incorporating more nature into their life?
A great first step is to find a local park or green space. Even a nearby community garden can be a nice place to explore.
And for those who live in cities, there are often urban parks, which can be just as beneficial. You can also try to combine outdoor time with exercise, like jogging or cycling.
Exactly. Nature walks are wonderful for both mental and physical health. They let us enjoy the environment while getting our bodies moving.
And have you noticed how being outdoors can be a social experience too? You can go with friends or family.
Yes, I love going hiking with friends. It's a great way to spend time together and enjoy nature at the same time.
That brings us to another point: the social benefits of being outdoors. Spending time with others in nature can strengthen relationships while reducing stress.
Absolutely. And I think there's also a sense of adventure when exploring new outdoor places. It can make life feel more exciting.
That's true. There's something special about discovering a new trail or sitting by a beautiful lake.
Speaking of adventures, do you have a favorite outdoor experience you'd like to share?
Definitely. Last summer, I went camping in the mountains. Waking up to the sound of birds and the fresh smell of pine trees was incredible.
That sounds amazing. I've always loved going camping too. There's no better feeling than sitting by the campfire under the stars.
Yes, it's like nature pulls us away from the noise of everyday life. What about tips for people who might not feel comfortable going out alone?
That's a good point. It's perfectly okay to feel uncertain about exploring nature alone. Joining organized outdoor groups or activities can be a great way to start.
Great idea. Many cities have hiking clubs or community events in parks where people can meet and enjoy nature together.
Also, some parks offer guided nature walks. That way you can learn while enjoying the outdoors.
I love learning about nature while being in it. It deepens that connection we have with the environment around us.
For sure. Plus, Some studies indicate that being knowledgeable about nature can enhance our appreciation of it, making the experience even more profound.
Speaking of appreciation, what are some activities people can do in nature besides walking or hiking?
Great question. People can try gardening, biking, birdwatching, or even just practicing mindfulness by sitting quietly and absorbing their surroundings.
Mindfulness is really powerful. Just taking a moment to focus on your breath and the sensations around you can be incredibly grounding.
Right. It's a way to connect with the present moment. When we're outside, we can engage all of our senses, the smells, sounds, and sights.
Exactly. And incorporating nature into daily life can be as simple as having plants in your home. They can also bring that sense of nature indoors.
Yes. Indoor plants not only brighten up a space, but can also improve air quality and reduce stress levels.
Fantastic point. So, for our listeners, remember to start small. Even a few minutes outside each day can make a big difference over time.
And think about your own preferences. Whether you enjoy active pursuits or peaceful moments in nature, find what works for you.
Well said. Nature is there for all of us, and it's just waiting to be explored.
Definitely. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts on nature therapy, Alex?
I just want to encourage everyone to take that first step. Even if it's just stepping outside for a few minutes, it can be a meaningful change for your mental health.
Absolutely. Get curious, explore, and enjoy the beauty of nature around you.
Thanks for listening to the English Hustle podcast. Welcome back to Stories Unfolded. Today, we have a powerful story that embodies the healing power of nature.
Yes, we're sharing the story of David, a young man who transformed his life through nature therapy.
David always loved the outdoors. Growing up, his happiest moments were spent hiking with his family and exploring the woods near their home. But after losing his mother 2 years ago, things changed dramatically for him.
That's heartbreaking. He fell into a deep depression, feeling lost and disconnected. He stopped going outside, spending most of his time indoors, withdrawn from friends and family.
Exactly. It was a tough time for him. But one day, while cleaning out his mother's belongings, he stumbled across an old journal of hers. In it, she wrote about her favorite hikes and how much nature meant to her.
That must have been a profound moment for him. It sounds like a spark of inspiration.
It really was. Inspired by his mother's words, David decided to step outside for the first time in months. He took a simple walk through a nearby park just to see what it felt like.
How did he feel during that first walk?
At first, he felt uneasy. He was so used to being inside that the fresh air made him anxious. But as he continued walking, he began to notice the beauty around him. Birds chirping, trees swaying, and flowers blooming.
That's lovely. It's amazing how even small moments in nature can have such a big impact on our emotions.
Definitely. As he walked, he remembered his mother's laughter and the carefree moments they shared outdoors. He felt a sense of peace wash over him, something he hadn't felt in a long time.
That's powerful. So did he continue going out?
Yes. After that first walk, David made it a daily routine. He started going on longer hikes, exploring new trails. He even joined a local hiking group for support and connection, allowing him to meet others who shared his love for nature.
Connecting with people who have similar interests is so important, especially when healing. Did he notice any changes in himself?
Absolutely. As the weeks went by, David felt a shift in his mood. He became more optimistic and energized. The act of being in nature and moving his body helped release tension and anxiety.
And that's what we call nature therapy. It's incredible how the environment can play a therapeutic role.
Yes. David also took up mindfulness practices during his hikes. He learned to be present, focusing on his breath and the sounds of nature. This mindfulness helped deepen his connection to the earth.
Did he ever think about sharing his journey?
He did. David eventually decided to give back by volunteering for a local environmental organization. He began leading nature walks for kids, sharing his love for the outdoors, and inspiring a new generation.
That's such a beautiful full-circle moment. He turned his pain into purpose, helping others find joy in nature.
Exactly. His story is a reminder of the healing power that nature can offer. Just being outdoors can help us reconnect with ourselves and find solace in difficult times.
For anyone listening, if you're feeling lost or overwhelmed, consider taking a step outside. It doesn't have to be a long hike. Just a walk in your neighborhood or a moment in a local park can be grounding.
We hope David's journey inspires you to explore nature, embrace its beauty, and perhaps discover your own healing path.
And remember, you're not alone in your struggles. Nature can be a powerful ally.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the English Hustle podcast. Now we're diving into some fascinating fun facts about nature.
I love this idea. Nature is full of surprises, and I think our listeners will be amazed by what we have in store.
Absolutely. So let's kick this off with a fun fact about trees. Did you know that trees can communicate with each other through a network of fungi underground?
Really? That's so cool. It's like a secret underground chat room for trees. What do they talk about?
Exactly. They warn each other about dangers like pests or diseases. It's known as the Wood Wide Web. Isn't that fascinating?
It really is. Nature has its own social network. Speaking of social, here's another fun fact. Some flowers can actually produce their own perfume to attract pollinators.
Oh, wow, that sounds like a floral party. Do you know any specific flowers that do this?
Yes. Take the jasmine flower, for example. It releases a sweet fragrance in the evening to attract nocturnal pollinators like moths.
That's so clever. Nature really knows how to throw a party.
For sure. Now, how about this fun fact? Pine trees can live for thousands of years. The oldest known living tree, a bristlecone pine, is over 4,800 years old.
Seriously? That tree has seen so much history. It's like a living monument. I can only imagine the stories it could tell if it could talk.
Right? It lived through the rise and fall of empires. And here's another interesting fact. Did you know that honey never spoils? Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible.
Wow, that's incredible. It's basically the world's oldest snack. I wonder if it tastes the same after all those years.
Probably. Honey has natural preservatives due to its low moisture content and acidity. It's truly nature's miracle food.
Speaking of miracles, have you heard that squirrels plant thousands of new trees every year simply by forgetting where they buried their nuts?
That's hilarious. Squirrels are like little gardeners, unintentionally reforesting the world. It's amazing how such a small creature can have such a big impact.
It really is. Here's another fun fact. Around 70% of the oxygen we breathe comes from the ocean, mainly from tiny phytoplankton.
Wow. So next time we're at the beach, we can thank those little guys for keeping our air fresh.
Exactly. The ocean is a powerhouse of life. And speaking of powerful, did you know that the Amazon rainforest produces about 20% of the world's oxygen?
That's mind-blowing. We often think of the Amazon as a place for exploration, but it's also a critical component of our planet's health.
Definitely. This leads me to another fun fact. A single tree can absorb about 48 pounds of carbon dioxide annually. So, planting trees is one of the best ways to combat climate change.
Nature is just full of ingenious solutions. This has been so much fun. There's so much more to learn about the amazing world around us. And I hope our listeners enjoyed these fun facts as much as we did. If you have any nature fun facts of your own, we'd love to hear them.
Maria, what's your earliest memory of being in nature?
Oh, I have such a vivid memory from when I was about 6 years old. My family took a camping trip to the national park. I remember waking up to the smell of pine trees and the sounds of birds chirping.
Sounds magical. What did you do that day?
We hiked a trail and came across a beautiful lake. I distinctly remember skipping stones and trying to see how many I could make skip across the water.
That's such a classic childhood memory. I loved skipping stones, too. My favorite outdoor memory is from when my friends and I used to have weekend camping trips. We would sit around the campfire, roast marshmallows, and tell ghost stories.
Campfire stories are the best. Did you ever get scared by those stories?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes I'd get so scared I couldn't sleep in my tent. I remember hearing all the sounds of night and letting my imagination run wild.
Those sounds can be haunting. Did you ever have any nature scares, like running into wildlife?
Actually, yes. One time we were hiking and came across a raccoon rummaging through our cooler. It was both adorable and terrifying at the same time.
Raccoons are such sneaky little creatures. I had a similar experience with a bear while hiking alone.
Oh, wow, that sounds intense. What happened?
I was taking pictures of the scenery, and out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a bear a little ways off. It was just minding its business, but my heart raced.
That must have been a surreal moment. Did you stay calm?
I tried to. I slowly backed away, but I was completely frozen for a moment. It reminded me how important it is to respect wildlife and keep a safe distance.
Definitely. Nature teaches us so many lessons. Speaking of which, how do you feel nature impacts our mental health?
It's huge. Research shows that spending time in nature can reduce stress and anxiety, boost mood, and improve cognitive function. I always feel more centered after a walk in the woods.
I couldn't agree more. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, a walk outside instantly lifts my spirits. Nature has this calming effect that's hard to replicate anywhere else.
For sure. One study even showed that just looking at pictures of nature can lower blood pressure and stress levels.
That's fascinating. Our brains are wired to connect with nature. It's like an instinct.
Exactly. And you know something else interesting? Different environments have varying impacts on our well-being. For example, forests tend to promote feelings of relaxation, while open spaces like beaches can evoke happiness.
I love that. So beaches are good for joy, and mountains are good for adventure and exercise.
Yes, it's all about finding the right environment for your mood.
Speaking of stories, let's engage our listeners a bit. We invited them to share their favorite outdoor activities, and I'd love to hear some of their responses.
Great idea. Let's pull up some comments and see what our audience shared.
Well, That was an enlightening discussion about nature therapy, Maria. I feel genuinely inspired to get outside more and connect with nature.
Absolutely, Alex. Nature therapy offers so many benefits, from reducing stress to enhancing our overall well-being. It's amazing how a simple walk in the woods can recharge us.
Right? Throughout our conversation, we touched on how nature can be a powerful healer, not just for our minds, but for our bodies, too.
Yes. Research shows that spending time in natural environments can lower blood pressure, improve mood, and even boost our immune systems. It really highlights the importance of making time for nature in our busy lives.
And I loved how we discussed different ways to engage with nature, whether it's hiking, gardening, or simply sitting in a park. There's truly something for everyone.
Definitely. You don't have to climb mountains or travel far to reap the benefits. Just stepping outside and feeling the sun or the breeze can make a difference.
That's a great reminder. And remember, nature therapy isn't just about the big adventures. It can be as simple as taking a mindful moment to appreciate the flowers in your garden or listening to the birds sing.
Exactly. I encourage our listeners to find little moments to connect with nature throughout their day, even if it's just taking your lunch break outside when you can.
Great suggestion. Before we wrap up, Maria, do you have any practical tips for our listeners to incorporate nature therapy into their routines?
Sure. One idea is to start a nature journal. When you're outdoors, take a few minutes to jot down your observations, such as what you see, hear, or feel. It's a wonderful way to deepen your connection to the environment.
I love that. A journal can also help you track your mood and the effects of nature on your well-being.
Absolutely. Another tip is to create a regular nature date with yourself or with friends. Pick a day each week or month to explore a new park or nature trail together.
That's a lovely idea. It not only encourages you to get outside, but also strengthens connections with others.
Definitely. And don't forget to disconnect from technology during that time. Put your phone away and be fully present in nature.
Yes. Nature is so much more enjoyable when we're not distracted by screens.
Exactly. We hope our listeners feel inspired to embrace nature therapy and make it a regular part of their lives.
And remember, folks, nature is not just a backdrop. It's an active participant in our healing process. Let's nurture our connection with it.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this exploration of nature therapy.
Until next time, take some time to step outside and breathe in the beauty around you. It can truly make a world of difference.